Hello everyone, I'm Will with AI Automation Agents, and today I wanted to do a quick how-to on how you can filter out valid and invalid leads. Um, and we'll use tools such as Zapier, Google Sheets, and Airtable. So here I have a very simple form. This was built using React, but this would apply to any form. So let's get started. So for the first example, we'll try a valid lead. So valid. So we'll give it a valid email and a valid phone number. Click submit. So now this will get sent over to Zapier, and because the email and phone number were valid, we should see the lead here in Airtable. So here's the lead we just submitted. And then let's do a test for an invalid lead. So imagine the email is invalid, and we have an invalid phone number. So when that gets submitted, you'll see that lead gets sent over to Google Sheets, which is where I want to stash all of my invalid leads. It just didn't meet the requirements for now. So then let's get started, and I'll walk you through how the flow works in Zapier. So Zapier is a low-code, no-code tool that integrates with a bunch of services such as Airtable, Google Sheets, and many others. And so it takes in some data and it'll run a flow. And so in this example, I have this trigger, which just means this is where I send the data. Then I run some code to validate whether the email and the phone are valid. Then I branch off. If the email and phone are valid, then I want to push the data over to Airtable. In this example, I wrote some code to do so, to make that API call, but you don't have to because Zapier offers that Airtable integration where you can simply log into your Airtable account, select which table you want your data to go to, and it'll do that for you automatically. And then if the phone number or email are invalid, then we want to push our data over to Google Sheets. So now let's create a new Zap and let's try it out. So for the first step, we want to use webhooks. So for this, we'll use a catch hook, which will essentially let us send the data over to Zapier. You can leave this blank. It's not useful in this scenario. And then this is essentially the endpoint that we're going to be sending our data to. So in order to test, what you need to do is you need to send a test. In order to test, you need to send the test payload. For this example, I'm going to send a test payload using Postman. So I copy this URL, put it here, put my payload, and it just simulates a form submission essentially. So if I click send, then see, here's the data we just received. That's what we just sent. And the reason you need this is just we'll use this test data to build out the rest of the flow. So the next step, we want to write some code. And for this example, I've already written some JavaScript to validate the email and phone number, but I'll walk you through on how to do that. So select run JavaScript, and then here, we'll put our code. And in here, we want to select the data we just sent over to Zapier. So whatever data we sent from our form. So you can see here, here's the data. So select the email and the phone. So we only pass these two because those are the only two values we care to validate. And you can see here, we reference that data this way, input data.email, which is the name we gave it here. So in this scenario, we have a regular expression. This essentially is going to try to test the email, whatever input comes through, and check, is there an at somewhere on the field, and is there a period towards the end, right? And then we do the same thing for phone number. We want to check that it's all numeric values and that it's 10 digits for it to be valid. And then we check our input against it. If it's valid, we'll store the result in a variable for both email and phone and return it. So then here we're gonna run a quick test and it'll run it against the test payload we sent earlier. So you can see both email and phone are invalid. That was an accident. I did not mean to publish that. I'll just go back to editing. For the next step, we'll want to branch off into two paths. So the first path is if the phone and email are valid, we want to push the data over to Airtable. So here we want to select the step where we created the valid email and valid phone. So that was this step right here. And we'll select valid email. So if that variable is true and the phone is also valid, then we want to go down this path. So as you can see in this scenario with our test data, I would not have ran through this path. And for the next step, we want to connect with Airtable. So here you can see I've already connected with my Airtable account, but if you haven't done so, it'll just take you to log into your account and it'll pull all the tables that you have in there. For the event, we want to create a record. So essentially insert a new line in our database. Here you can see this is where it'll make you authenticate. I already did so we can skip this step. And here you select the base and the table. So we'll select those two. And then it'll pull the fields that you have in that table. So in this scenario, I have more fields than just name, phone, and name. Phone, email, and name. So you can just put like empty values here for these values just because we don't need them. And then here for the name, we want to select from the payload we receive the email and the phone number. So we want to test this step. And then if we come here, refresh this, you can see it's kind of nice how you can test each step before publishing the flow, because then you know it works well. And then we go to the other use case. So if the email or phone are invalid, then we want to push the data over to Google Sheets. So if valid, if phone is invalid, which means this is false and phone is invalid, then we continue down this step. Finally, we want to push the data over to Google Sheets. So again, Zapier already has integrations with both of these systems. So we'll just essentially do what we did for Airtable. We'll choose event. We want to insert a row. So create spreadsheet row. It'll ask you to authenticate. And here you can select your drive. You can select the sheet, the spreadsheet, as well as the sheet if you have multiple. And once again, it'll pull the column headers here. And we'll do the same thing. We'll just select the data we want to put in each column. So for this one, email. Then we have phone, or sorry, we have name. And lastly, we have phone. So we'll click test step. And there you have it. There's the test data we just sent. And once you're done, you can just go ahead and publish this. Sorry, you can go ahead and publish this. Publish. And once again, you can copy the webhook URL and just send your data there from your form. So I hope you find this helpful. If you have any questions or if you like this content, please leave a comment, subscribe, and give us a like. If you'd like to learn more about how you can improve your business or enhance your workflows, please feel free to check out our website. I'll leave the link down below in the description, and you can learn more about what we offer, what we do, and how we can help you take your business to the next level. Thank you for watching, and see you guys next time.